How you doing? Come on in. I'm Dolph Jackson. Welcome to the final score. Hope everybody's having a great evening, family. Well, listen, I'm not going to waste no time, family. You know why we're all here tonight, why we're tuning in. It's the biggest polarizing story in all of sports right now. I'm talking about Lane Kiffin. Tonight, we're diving into the most polarizing story in college football. Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss and heads to rival LSU. This isn't just a coaching change. This is a flashpoint, a case study, a sign that college football is facing an identity crisis. Lane Kiffin has become the poster child for what is broken in the sport. Not because he's the villain, but because he's the perfect example of a system that encourages instability, encourages chaos, and encourages opportunism. So tonight we're breaking down what happened, why it matters, and what it means for the future of the sport we love. And yes, I'm opening it up big tonight, baby. That's right. It's on you tonight. It's a Q&A. It's to you, the audience. So let's get those comments ready, family. Thank you all for being here. Again, this is the final score brought to you by the Come On In Sports Network. I'm your host, Dolph Jackson. And so let's just speak about what happened. So let's start with the facts. Lane Kiffin spent 6 seasons at Ole Miss, has built them into a top 10 program, has took them to an 11-1 season, the best record in program history. They just beat their rivals in the Egg Bowl, and they are on the cusp of making the college football playoffs for the first time. But yet and still on Sunday morning, Lane Kiffin accepts the LSU head coaching job. A job that he didn't know would come open, but a job that came open, a job that he was interested in, and so much interested in that he has decided to become the head coach of the Fighting Tigers. Now, it is reported that, and matter of fact, it was quoted by Lane himself, who said that he asked Ole Miss for permission to coach the team through the playoff. Ole Miss denies that Lane Kiffin ever made that request of them. So something's not right. Someone's not telling the truth. Now, there are some quotes that I'm going to read to you from some anonymous players and analysts. First of all, let's start with the statement that Lane Kiffin made. Kiffin stated that it was a very difficult and challenging day. I love that team and the people at Ole Miss. I asked to coach them in the playoffs, but the decision was made, and I respect it. Again, Ole Miss denied him when he supposedly asked to coach the team in the playoffs. Now, here's a quote from one Ole Miss player. Again, this is anonymous. This player, let's call it player one, says, We never had a meeting where we told him, speaking of Coach Kiffin, we wanted him to coach the playoff game. That never happened. Some of what he's saying just isn't true. We're not done. Here's another quote from a player. People got to stop acting like we begged him to stay. He was leaving regardless. The writing was on the wall. A third Ole Miss player, here's a quote is, "It's the lies that bother us," speaking about the team. "Don't say we tried to keep you or ask you to coach when none of that ever happened." There's a miscontent somewhere. There's something that's not adding up. Now, why Ole Miss has denied Lane Kiffin request or supposedly request to coach the team in the playoff, Charlie Weis Jr., Lane Kiffin's offensive coordinator at Ole Miss, and also his offensive coordinator at LSU, will be allowed to coach the team in the playoffs despite already being hired at LSU along with Kiffin. I'm gonna say that again. Charlie Weis, the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss and future offensive coordinator at LSU, will be allowed to coach Ole Miss in the playoffs. Lane Kiffin, the head coach, will not. Now, like myself, you've heard all the national analysts, you've heard those from the Ole Miss side, the LSU side. You heard both takes. Those who say that Kiffin is getting a bad hand. Those who say this is just a Kiffin thing. He's all about himself. But my thing is this: if you say that you do not want Lane Kiffin to coach your team, his former team, because you fear there's a chance he may try to recruit some players away from Ole Miss and have them follow him to LSU. Now, help me out with this. Was not Charlie Weis Jr. the offensive coordinator? Did not the offensive players at Ole Miss spend the majority of their time with their coordinator, Charlie Weis Jr.? So what stops Charlie Weis Jr. from recruiting some of his players from Ole Miss to come to LSU? In case there's a kid that walks up and, "Hey, coach, what you think about why you really went to LSU? What is it about LSU? What are some things that stand out to LSU about? What are some things stand out to you about LSU that you guys thought we couldn't accomplish here at Ole Miss?" Is that fair? I'm asking you, is that fair? Is that a fair assessment? So the storyline of Kiffin abandoning his team immediately gets messy. It's messy already. It gets messy right there. I just read you some quotes from some players who said that Kiffin lied. He's lying. He never talked to us about coaching us in the playoffs. We never asked or begged him to coach us through the playoffs. So something's not lining up here. And know who seems to be taking a fall back, who's trying to hide from all this, it's the NCAA. The NCAA early signing period started today, which meant Kiffin had hours. I'm going to say it again. The early signing period started today. So when he accepted the job Sunday, he had hours, not weeks or months, to make the decision. And this is where the system shows its cracks. What do you say, family? Let me know in the chat. What are your thoughts? All right. Don't think that Lane will bring Coach O back to LSU as a defensive coordinator. Well, that's if Blake leaves. Has Blake accepted the Tulane job yet? I was listening to Matt Moscona today, and Matt's got his sources telling him that the AD at Tulane wants a head coach with experience of being a head coach. But the alumni and the money makers, those who make the program, they want Blake. Why wouldn't you want a former player who's one of the best defensive minds in college football? Look at what he did when he came to LSU. How horrible and horrendous and how much of an embarrassment LSU had become defensively. So we'll see. So if the calendar forces coaches to make life-changing decisions during the most important moments of the season, who's really to blame? I ask you that, family, right now. That's my question to you. I ask you, who is to blame? Think about it. The NCAA calendar. You got conference championship games. You got playoff berths on the line. You got early signing period. You take a job Sunday. You got to try to keep the class together. You got to look at a lot of film and hours. You got to figure out what kids presently committed to you actually may fit what you want to do, you and your incoming staff. So again, who's really to blame? We cannot let the NCAA off the hook with this. If anything, this is showing that they need to make a change. And that brings us to our second segment. The bigger problem, the college football system. Here's my problem, and I want to lay it out clearly, and I mean clearly. College football has a structural problem. That's right, a structural problem. And Lane Kiffin is the whipping child. The backlash isn't just about him leaving Oxford. It's about the system being broken. It's about the system being broken. What do I mean? What do you mean, dog? What are you saying? Unlimited transfers. Unlimited coaching movement. Coaches can come and go like they want. Early signing periods. Remember when it used to just be one signing day? Several years ago, they started the early signing period. Playoff expansion went from 4 teams. Now we have 12 teams. And I'm telling you right now, I guarantee you, there's going to be an expansion from 12 to 16 teams. And I think you cut it off after 16. You can't go no more after that. There's going to be an expansion to 16 teams. So all of this is happening, family, with zero guardrails. Players can leave freely. And listen. I'm all for the players. I'm all for player freedom. But coaches can leave freely too with no consequences. We're living in a world where loyalty is optional. Stability is a myth. And programs can lose their head coach 48 hours before a playoff run. That is not sustainable. That's sad, man. And not to mention, what about the assistants? They're staying behind the coach Ole Miss in the playoffs, but they already have jobs lined up at LSU with Lane Kiffin. So if the concern, as I stated earlier, was tampering or recruiting players to LSU, then how does that make sense? Wait. How does that make sense? Lauren Johnson, how you doing? Come on in. All right. We got the man, the myth, 1568 says, love for the school is just not there as much anymore. Money talks. I understand that. Let me ask y'all this. And I hear where you're coming from. When did a kid choose to go to a school to play football simply for the school? Think about this. Think about what I'm saying. This for all my old heads out there, because I know a lot of old heads think like that. When did a kid simply pick to go to a school because of the school to play football? Oh, I like that school. I'm going to go play football there. Without talking to the coaches, not seeing where he fits in. It never happens. Coaches have always recruited players. They've always had to go to the home and recruit the players. So many of you may not like to hear it or want to hear it, but a lot of kids, the majority of kids, not only pick an institution because they may have grown up liking that certain institution, but they also pick that institution because of who's the head coach, who's the coordinators, who will be coaching them, who will be helping them to develop their skills and possibly make it to the next level. The old saying is true, family. Coaching matters. Coaching matters. Now, I know there, like I heard today, well, this is the same man that came and sat in the living room of parents and said what he was going to do and why let their child come to Ole Miss and play for him, and this is what he does. I think it's a shame. It's abysmal. He should be ashamed. Now, I'm about to play a video from the Dan Patrick Show, and one person who does not like what Lane Kiffin did, and from his venom, I don't think he likes Lane Kiffin. Just join in, because a lot of people who are jumping in on this just because they don't like Lane Kiffin. Let me just say that too. But Bill Cowher was on the Dan Patrick Show, and for those of you who didn't hear what he had to say. We're about to listen right now. And then we're going to continue our discussion. Then I'm going to open the line up. Got some questions for you. Then I'll open the line up for anyone who would like to come on and express your opinion. Remember, it's Q&A. It's all about you tonight as we're discussing the Lane Kiffin saga, the college football crisis, live tonight on the Final Score, presented by the Come On In Sports Network. All right, let me get that queued up for you. And we're going to get out.
About the next job, at least I didn't, from my standpoint. I've been.
What kind of job offers or feelers did?
All right, so that's Kyle there. Dan Patrick.
Did you get when you were with the Steelers? How often does that happen on an NFL level?
Let me kill that background music for
us. I never even entertained. I don't think it doesn't happen at all. I think when you're with a team like that, you're just trying to win year to year. You know, my fear of failure far exceeded my desire to win.
Coach Bill Collins.
I did not want to fail and get fired. I mean, that was always over the top of my head, and I just knew results-oriented business. And if you didn't produce, you're going to be asked to move on because that's just the nature of that profession. So I understood that getting into that profession, but you never think about the next job. At least I didn't, from my standpoint. I've been in one place for a long period of time, Dan. I was in Pittsburgh for 15 years. I've been in CBS for 19 years. I'm not the kind of guy that's looking for the grass being greener on the other side. I like to be appreciated, and if I'm appreciated, you're going to get the very best of me.
All right. There's a shot right there. I'm not the guy looking for the grass greener on the other side. I was at one place for 15 years. I've been at Pittsburgh for 19 years. Things are not the same. That's the NFL. We're talking college football. This man has built Ole Miss up into a perennial top 10 program. They are presently embarked on and in the best season in school history. They are going to the college football playoffs for the first time, and Lane Kiffin was the architect behind it. Pittsburgh's only had 3 coaches in my lifetime. Cowher, Tomlin, and Chuck Noll. That's not common around the NFL. And what he is saying is looking for grass green on the other side is payday. You getting money. He was getting money. He's getting paid good at Ole Miss. LSU's paying too. It ain't the money thing. Ole Miss had money too. Excuse me, family. So let's finish hearing what Coach Kyle will say, and then we're gonna keep on. We're gonna keep this thing turning.
You know what? I appreciate being able to go to work while I am appreciated.
But it's standard procedure in college football now. Why is that?
I don't know. I go back. I think it's the lack of structure that the NCAA has right now in terms of these timetables, in terms of the pool, the transfer portal that takes place, allowing coaches to leave before they're at the end of their contracts to go to other places. It doesn't happen in the NFL. There's a very
All right, let me stop. Coaches are not allowed to leave in the NFL before their contract ends, but they damn sure get fired. They'll damn sure fire you in the NFL after 1 year. They'll damn sure do that. I can tell you that. The man, the myth 1568 says, I'm in belief that the school players and coaches do not owe each other anything. The school gave them a shot, and the kids and coaches gave it their all. If a better job arrives, I wish them the best. So Lane Kiffin right now is being bombasted just about everywhere. While up I-10 in New Orleans, Tulane just lost it's former, right now, coach John Summerall to Florida as the next head coach of the Florida Gators. He also has his team playing for a conference championship and an opportunity to make the college football playoffs for the first time. Now, the only difference is, unlike Ole Miss, Tulane wants John Summerall to continue to coach the team to the conference championship game this Friday against North Texas. And if they are successful, they want him to coach the team in the playoffs. And Florida has signed off with this. What's the difference between these two? One, John Summerall is more likable than Lane Kiffin. Remember, Lane Kiffin, he went to Oxford and he had to rebuild his reputation. John Summerall is going from a group of 5 school in Tulane to one of the most prestigious universities in the country and football programs in the Florida Gators. But there's no outcry about that. There's no talking about recruiting Tulane players to go to Florida. And remember, with this transfer portal, there are players from Tulane, you better believe, that can go to Florida and play. Florida was 4-8 this past season. 4-8. Tulane's playing in its 4th consecutive conference championship game. I know what you're saying. Well, that's the American. Don't matter. They're there. They've had 4 consecutive winning seasons. Florida hasn't. But my thing is, what's the difference? To me, one guy's likable, one guy's not. One guy has a reputable reputation. Another guy has a but you don't think John Summerall, as he said, this was his dream job. He said when he came to Tulane that the only way he would leave Tulane was for a job that he considered a dream come true, chance of a lifetime. You get to coach in the SEC. You get to coach in the swamp. You get to coach the Florida Gators. You get to stand on the same sidelines that was occupied by Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, the same university that produced Emmitt Smith. We can go on and on. All right, the Myth Man says, I think Ole Miss is wrong for not letting him coach. Let me ask y'all this. If it was reversed and Lane Kiffin was leaving LSU to go to Alabama, would you want him to coach LSU? Be honest with yourself. The answer is hell no. The majority of y'all know you wouldn't. You would not want him to coach LSU. Listen, and remember, Tulane in the Summerall thing of it is American Conference, Group of 5 school. They're not an SEC school. They're not an SEC school. But hey, let's finish here. Let's see. Says, but it gives him more time to recruit for LSU, so it's a plus for them. I don't know. Signing day was the day. He signed his contract with LSU on Sunday. Early signing period was the day. All right. So let's finish hearing from Coach Cowell.
Discipline structure that we have. There's a salary cap. There's a time for free agency that happens afterwards. You know, head coaches aren't going to be able to go from one team to another because you're not even talking to another team. Now, the biggest thing in the NFL, to me, the problem that you have, if indeed it is, and I didn't think it was your assistants, because at the end of a season and you're in the playoffs, the assistants have an opportunity to talk to other teams. But I always looked at that as a feather in your cap. And I always thought to him, because I know when I was getting interviewed at times, that, you know what, my resume is being put on that table with that playoff game. So I was more inspired to do well in that playoff game as opposed to thinking about putting your staff together, thinking about, what you're going to do, and your mind isn't on the game. I don't think that's the case. So I don't think we have that in the National Football League. I think the NCAA is really, it's the wild, wild west. I've said that out there. I said it yesterday, went on a little bit of a rant. It's just a problem for me is that the people that get lost in this are the players. And the message we're sending to them, the lack of trust that they're going to start having in our institutions, in our systems, because you know what, that's what we're going to lose. If you're telling them one thing and you're doing another thing. And then the other part of that is the entitlement that we now are doing with young players. When a quarterback is making $4 million a year and the lineman that's up there has got a 4-year scholarship and is getting paid nothing. Okay. But because you know what, 1% of the people in college are going to play pro. Teach them life lessons about what business is like, what going into the next level of life is about. Responsibility, having a job, working for someone, and having the MES to a boss, and work your way up the ladder. That sometimes you're not going to get entitled to something because you think you decide a part of it. You may have to work for a long period of time to get that opportunity. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, I'm listening. How should I put this? Be a coward in his feelings right now. That's how I'm gonna put it. You gonna tell me you might not like Lane Kiffin, but that man did not get to where he's at now if he didn't put the time in, if he didn't put the effort in. You can feel whatever way you want about Lane Kiffin. I'm not a Lane Kiffin apologist or nothing like that. But what I'm hearing is this man continue taking shots at this man and saying you teach the kid. How you know he's not teaching kid? Lane Kiffin ain't the first coach to leave his team and go to another university. He's not the first, and he won't be the last. So tonight, the question isn't just, is Lane Kiffin wrong? The question is, are we okay with a college football world where nobody stays, nobody waits, and loyalty is a thing of the past? So, family, I'm about to open up. I'm gonna put the link in. Anybody like to come in? And I got some questions for you. Here's the first question. This is our Q&A part. Here's the first question for you, family. Did Lane Kiffin, I want you to listen to me good. Did Lane Kiffin do anything wrong? And I'm gonna wait for your response. And I'm putting the link in the chat right now. For all who would like to join me, please come on. I would love to hear from you. The family would love to hear from you. Let us know. Let's see. All right, the link is there. And again, the first question tonight, family, is this. Did Lane Kiffin, in your opinion, do anything wrong? And while I'm waiting for your response to that, let's finish hearing a bitter, upset, throwing shots, Coach Bill Cowher.
With a good work ethic, a degree of saying, you know what, I'm going to compete for whatever I need to compete for, because you know what, that will serve you better in life than being entitled and being handed something that really, to me, is they're too young to be given that kind of money.
If you were the Ole Miss athletic director and Lane Kiffin said to you, hey, I want to coach this team in the playoffs, you would have said,
you decided to go to LSU. Thank you and goodbye. What, to let you come here for the next month and talk about how great LSU is over Mississippi? You kidding me? Seriously? To even ask for that question is like, that's arrogance. That's arrogance. I think what happened there is a disgrace to the coaching profession, because I would just say this. The coaching profession is about developing young men. It's not about chasing the greener grass to somewhere else. It'd be an ambulance chaser and go, oh, I can fix you. And then when you fix that, let me go here and fix that. It's about developing young men. It's about trying to create tradition. pageantry for the institution that you work for. We had rivalry weekend. We just came off of. What's a rivalry anymore? What's a conference anymore? I'm telling you, we're losing some of the very core fiber of things that we have grown up.
Hey, am I the only one that does Bill Cowher sound like that old man saying, "Get off my grass, get off my grass"? I
Loving about college football, and we're watching it deteriorate right before our eyes.
Bill on fire, man. Bill Cowher was on fire right there, baby. But again, the floor is open. The link is in the chat. First question tonight, family, is, did Lane Kiffin do anything wrong? Put it in the chat. If you don't want to come on, put it in the chat. Did Lane Kiffin do anything wrong, family? Let me know. I don't think he did. But you let your boy Dolph know. Did he do anything wrong? See what comment in the chat. See if we get in the chat here. All right, we read this one already. I think Ole Miss is wrong for not letting him coach. It gives him, speaking of Kiffin, time to recruit for LSU, so it's a plus for them. By them, you mean LSU? Okay. Let's see. All right. So the next question, we're going to keep it moving. I ain't going to hold you long, family. First question was, did Lane Kiffin do anything wrong? Did he do anything wrong? Me, myself, I don't think he did anything wrong. I just think that it's the makeup. It's the makeup and the timetable, the calendar right now of the NCAA. That's, to me, is the bigger problem right now. Why would you have early signing period during conference championship week? Why would you have early signing period during college football playoff, the expanded college football playoff, the second year of it? You went from 4 to 12. This is the second year of the 12-team playoffs. Why not push early signing period to after the playoffs? Push signing day back. Have the early signing period the day after the championship game. That's the early signing period. Then you have the regular signing period in February. That's my thoughts to that one. So do I think Lane Kiffin did anything wrong? No, because you say, well, he left right before the playoffs, but didn't Ole Miss allow him to coach the Egg Bowl? And with that victory, did that not secure their place in the college football playoffs in the eyes of many? Did it not? Now, my other question is this, and please leave your comments. I'll be sure to read them and respond to as many of them as I can. Should coaches be banned from leaving until after postseason play? I'm gonna ask that again. Should coaches be banned from leaving their current institution till after postseason play? Even if they accept the job, you cannot leave until after postseason play. If your team is in a conference championship game, if your team has a bowl game, if your team is in the college football playoffs, you cannot start your job as the head coach of the new institution until all your duties have come to an end at your previous and current institution. Next question. Should the early signing period be eliminated? I don't think it should be eliminated. Like I just said, I think it should be after the championship game. the day after. That's right, 24 hours after the championship game, early signing window opens. 2 days, not 3, just 2 days. Then after that, you go to the regular signing period in February. That's how it should be in my eyes. Let me know what you think about that. Also, we know that there's transfer rules for players, and let's stop and let's talk about that right quick. You heard me say earlier, I'm all for players. Coaches have been willing and dealing for ages. Institutions have been making money off these kids. Fist for hands for dollars. You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Do I think coaches should have transfer rules too, like the players? Yes, but here's what I'm talking about with the players. It's kind of out of hand with players. When you allow a player to train, when a player transfers 3-4 times, that's a problem. To me, if you're going to transfer, you should be able to transfer once every other year. For instance, if you transferred into a university this year and play and things didn't work out, that institution the way you thought they would, you cannot transfer again for another season. The following season, you cannot transfer. You have to wait a year. And you're only allowed 2 transfers during your eligibility to play college football. That's it. To me, that will make players make more calculated and sound decisions when deciding to leave an institution and deciding to enroll and play football at another institution. So again, should coaches have transfer rules like a 1 move per 2 years rule, which I just basically said? Should coaches have that same rule? I think it'd be good rule for players, but should coaches have that too? And our fans, we as fans, we the national media, we the content creators, we the just lovers of college football, are we overreacting, or is this betrayal? And what does this mean for Ole Miss future, for LSU's, for college football as a whole? Drop your thoughts. I want to hear your real raw reactions to this saga. So family, tonight was real, emotional, honest, and that's exactly what college football needs. This sport is changing fast, and we need to talk about it. We need to talk about what we're gaining, but also about what we're losing. Whether you think Lane Kiffin made the right move or the wrong move, the truth is simple. The system of the NCAA created this moment. And until the system changes, Lane Kiffin, my friends, will not be the last coach or the last player caught in this chaos. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your comments. And as always, family, stay locked in, stay passionate, stay part of the conversation. And remember, family, the doors are now open. So come on in. Have a good evening, family. Talk to you soon. We out.